White Sox will bring in a new pitcher as we get ready to move to inning number 5. It's 4-0 in favor of Chicago, and they're bringing in their closer, David Robertson. First batter up for the Angels is Martin Maldonado. Robertson's first pitch, and that one is in there for a called strike. Well, we want to let our listeners know we are on Fox Sports West on the TV side now. We've had a lot of technical issues today because of the sunspots here. Solar sunspots, we're told, but I think we've synced up now, and hopefully we'll remain on the TV side as well.
Let's do this.
Appreciate everyone for their patience and for all the folks working hard to get the telecast on the air.
Yes, they have.
0-2 is the count. Robertson's next pitch, and that's a little bit low and outside. Robertson replacing Petrichka, their first reliever of the day, and he had a 1-2-3 inning against the Angels in the 4th. You heard a lot in the offseason, Jose, that the White Sox were certainly contemplating trading David Robertson, and of course that possibility certainly exists once we get into the regular season as well. He could be a guy at the trading deadline that the White Sox might move.
Absolutely. Great arm. And, you know, he and Quintana's name will continue to float for a long time. Quintana's name still floating out there in the rumor mill. Jose Quintana, solid lefty.
Here's the next delivery, and that one misses a little bit low. Robertson fastball, top out around 95. Real good cutter, cut fastball. He had 37 saves last year. Save percentage was 84%.
He is on Team USA, in fact.
So it's a full count on Martin, and the next pitch, he got him looking on the outside corner, and he might have given him a cut fastball on that one for out number 1. Second time Maldonado is struck out, and Shane Robinson will be the next batter.
David Robertson, power fastball, great cutter, outstanding breaking ball, and he throws one speed with good command. So David Robertson, along with the teammate Nate Jones, are both part of the Team USA for the World Baseball Classic.
There's a pitch that misses low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes, the count.
Understanding, Terry, there's a few games already in the Miami venue sold out.
It's good to hear. One ball, no strikes. And here's the next pitch, and that one is a pitch taken for ball 2. Fans, don't forget you can host a business function or celebrate a special occasion in your own private suite at the Big A. Suite rentals offer all-inclusive food and beverage packages. Visit angels.com/suites to reserve your suite today. And there's one chopped foul over by the Angels' third base dugout. 2 balls and 1 strike, the count. Robertson is facing Robinson. Angels have had just 1 hit in this ball game, and trail it 4-0 here in the 5th. Here's the next pitch, grounded on the left side. That's going to be a base hit in between Garcia and Cabrera, and it rolls on out to Melky Cabrera, the left fielder. So Shane Robinson has a single. Angels have a base runner. Jose, while we have a chance, we want to send a shout out to a special Angel fan who's been following the Angels for a long time in Murrieta, and that is Carol Rosal, who we've seen for a long time here in Arizona in the Cactus League, and she has followed the Angels for many years. I'm sure she's listening today, probably switched on to the telecast now as well. And she sent us a photo we got the other day, Jose. That was the photo of you, me, and David Eckstein. Remember that?
That's right.
Yeah.
Rick Eckstein next to us that time, and as a coach.
Oh, it was Rick Eckstein?
Rick Eckstein.
Oh, okay. I thought it was David Eckstein. Here's the pitch. That one is a pitch that's in there for a strike. Throw to second. It's late. That's going to be a stolen base for Shane Robinson. So he was on the move. Even with the Angels down 4. He steals second, as it turns out, easily. The throw from Kevin Smith was high.
The work continues, and trying to just get on the board here somehow, especially with a guy like Robertson. High leg kick. He'll mix it in once in a while, but main concern is to get the power leg load up towards home plate, which of course serves as a great reminder and a point for trigger to the base runner.
Here's the next delivery, and that one to Flores. He takes it, and the count on him now level. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Terry, thank you for the reminder on Carol and what, of course, the broadcast means to her and with all of our colleagues here with the Angels.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to make the trip here to Arizona this spring, but we've seen her here for many years. Huge Angel fan. 1 ball, 1 strike. Angels will be back in Tempe tomorrow, and Jose, that'll be the first appearance this spring of Garrett Richards. He is on the board to start that game tomorrow afternoon as the Angels face the Cincinnati Reds.
He is ready to go. He's been sharp in pretty much every outing, every step of the way.
Hope we get a chance to see the Brennemans tomorrow. Marty or Tom.
At least one of them.
Yep.
Well, we want to see them both, but there's a good chance we'll see at least one of them. Right?
Known that family for a long time, back to the days in Ohio. So, of course, Marty Brenneman, legendary broadcaster, radio broadcaster for the Cincinnati Reds, Hall of Famer. Here's a fly ball that's lifted into left field. It's shallow. Camping under is Melky Cabrera, and he will make the catch on that one to retire Flores. That's the second out. Robinson on the play, remains at second. Sherman Johnson will be the next batter. Sherm reached on a fielder's choice his first time up and stole a base. The Angels have had a couple of stolen bases here, but no runs at the moment, down by 4.
Angels now with 11 stolen bases so far this spring.
So they have the infield back, 2 outs, outfield not very deep at all. And here's the pitch on Johnson. That's a breaking ball right in there for a called strike.
That is a power curve which he can command to both sides of the plate and of course out of the zone. Very good at setting you up with some fastballs inside, cutter inside, all of a sudden just drop the hammer on you. Catchers know they're on the alert with David Robertson, especially. It was 1-2, 0-2 counts. He will bounce them. And guys behind the plate are more than ready mechanically to go and keep that block in front of them.
Here's the next delivery, and that one is fouled off. So the count, no balls, 2 strikes. David Robertson has always been a strikeout pitcher, and last year no exception. In 62 1/3 innings, 75 strikeouts. He's had 60 plus appearances now 7 years in a row. And the next delivery, that's low. It got away from the catcher Smith, and breaking for third and getting there without a throw will be Shane Robinson. So he's been busy on the bases. That'll be a wild pitch. And now the Angels have a runner 90 feet away with 2 outs, trying to get him in.
Trying to work on something else, that changeup. He got it where he wanted in terms of seeing if Sherman Johnson would jump at it after throwing a couple of good fastballs. Just a lot of movement there at the end. Did not allow the catcher to center it.
So here's the 1-2 pitch, grounded sharply, but right to second. Looks like it's going to end the inning, and the throw to first will get Johnson, and the Angels leave a runner at third base. So quiet day at the moment offensively for the Halos. No runs on, just 2 hits so far this afternoon. The bottom of the 5th is coming up. We are in Glendale, Arizona, the ballpark at Camelback Ranch. It's 4-0 White Sox on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West.
Leading off the White Sox, number 25, first baseman, Cody Ashley.
Angels have a new battery as we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. The new pitcher is Cody Iggy. The new catcher is Tony Sanchez. And also a new third baseman, Caleb Cowart. Cowart replacing Yunel Escobar. So Iggy is ready. Ashy is the batter he faces. And here is the first pitch. And that is on the outside corner for a called strike. J.C. Ramirez ended up working the last 2 innings for the Angels. He did allow 4 hits, but they didn't score against them. And along the way, he hit a batter, threw a wild pitch, struck out 2, didn't walk any. Iggy's next delivery is in there, and he's jumped in front. It's 0-2 on Ashy. Here's the next pitch, and that one is outside. It misses for a ball. Iggy is pitching for the 3rd time this spring. Couple of scoreless innings so far. Trying to make the Angels opening day roster as a left-handed reliever.
And just got a glimpse of Iggy. In the regular season, many of those pitchers have benefited, Terry, from all the injuries the Angels suffered to get a crack at the big league roster immediately.
There's a pitch that misses. It evens up the count. 2-2.
And just projecting, and the lefty with a job on his hands is Jose Alvarez. He's very dependable.
And the next delivery, and this one is hit out into left center field. Coming in hard, making a nice running catch is the center fielder Eric Young Jr. Wasn't hit very deep at all. Young had to come in a long way. So that's the first out, and Yolmer Sanchez will be the batter. Let's run down what's happening around the Cactus League today. Here in Arizona, the Indians have a 12-1 lead against the A's in the 4th. A Royals split squad up on the Reds 5-1 in the 5th. Dodgers are trailing the Cubs 7-3. That's in the 5th inning. The other Royals split squad has a 2-0 lead against the Giants. That's in the 6th. Rangers and Brewers are 1-1 in the 5th. D-backs up on the Padres 4-2. That's in the 4th. And the Rockies and Mariners are 2-2 in the 6th inning. We'll check out the Florida Grapefruit League in just a moment. Here's the pitch. That's high and away. Phillies defeated the Braves split squad 7-4. And the other Braves split squad trailing the Marlins 8-6 in the 9th inning. The Yankees up on the Tigers 11-1. That's in the 9th. Here's a fly ball lifted into right field. Should be an easy play for Shane Robinson. He's under, squeezes it, and that will be the second out. Kevin Smith, who's had a pair of hits and 2 RBIs, will be the next batter. The rest of the scores in the Grapefruit League in Florida today. Orioles over the Rays. The final there was 1-0. The Pirates beat the Red Sox 3-2. Mets over the Astros 3-1. Twins beat the Blue Jays 6-2. Nationals and Cardinals played to a 1-1 tie. There's a pitch taken for a strike. The batter is Kevin Smith. The count 0-1. Bottom of the 5th inning here in Glendale. It's 4-0 White Sox. Next pitch chopped foul over on the left side. Have a lot of Angel fans here today. You see red in the stands. Not a huge crowd by any stretch, but it almost seems like it's about equal between Angel fans and White Sox fans.
Most definitely. Many of them leaving their houses in Southern California in the early morning hours and making the ride down I-10 East before even getting into Phoenix. Terry, that's an easy ride right here.
Yeah, depending on what part of Southern California you're coming in from. It's about, well, maybe a 6-hour drive, maybe a little bit less than that here to the valley.
Always a comfort zone when we see all the red. So a young man with the his GoPro over in the area where the players sign a lot of autographs and go, well, he's going to document every autograph he gets. Smart idea.
Yeah.
Got his GoPro on his hat.
You have the video to prove it. It's an authentic autograph.
It's right there.
That's right. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Iggy ready, and here's the next pitch. That's way outside. One thing we can guarantee you tomorrow when the Angels are at Tempe Diablo Stadium, we're going to see a lot of red because the Angels are facing the Cincinnati Reds. So it might be hard to differentiate who the fans are cheering for, but it will be nothing but red tomorrow in Tempe. Here's the pitch, and that's a little bit low and inside.
The Red Stockings. Brandon Finnegan will be on the mound for Cincinnati. Former KC Royal lefty. And Garrett Richards making us way back to the mound. It's terrific, Terry. When we talk about Garrett Richards, how much he wanted to pitch, even at the end of last season, he said, I want to pitch. I want to throw my bullpens. I want to face live hitters, and I want to go to instructional league. He got it all done.
Here's a shallow fly ball lifted into right center. The Shane Robinson will make the catch on. 3 fly ball outs here, and a 1-2-3 inning for the first time against the White Sox. As we get ready to move to the 6th inning, it's 4-0 Chicago on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West.
When did mix
Have a few changes here for the White Sox. They have a new pitcher, Nate Jones, who has the unorthodox delivery out there on the mound. He will get the baseball. He was in 71 games last year for the White Sox, and he has touched triple digits with his fastball. 5-3 record last year for Chicago. 2.29 ERA. He takes over. And here's his first pitch, and that one is way high and outside for a ball.
Quite unorthodox. He has a pause. He gets the baseball out of his glove, then stops pretty much to really disrupt the rhythm of the hitter, and then throw in the mid to upper 90s.
2 balls and no strikes. He's missed on the first 2. Danny Hayes is now playing first base. He replaces the starting first baseman, and that was Cody Ashe. And here's one lifted in the air to right at the new right fielder, and the catch is made. Adam Engel is now playing in right field, and it looks like they also have a new left fielder in the ball game. Guy who has spent some time at the major league level, and that is Jason Bourgeois, who signed a minor league deal with the White Sox this year. He spent some time in their minors, also in the D-back system last year. Here's the pitch, and that one is fouled off. Caleb Coward is batting for the Angels. No balls, 1 strike the count. Cowart's first at bat of the day, hitting out a Escobar's spot. Replaced him at third base. Leadoff batter in the inning for the Angels, who lifted that fly ball out to the right fielder, was David Fletcher. He's 0 for 2, a couple flyouts. Jones is ready. Here's his next pitch, and that's high and away for a ball.
As mentioned, David Robertson, along with Nate Jones, will take part in the World Baseball Classic. They're on Team USA. White Sox have a few players. Miguel Gonzalez, right-handed pitcher, former Angel farmhand, will be pitching for Mexico. Jose Quintana will be pitching for Colombia.
There's one that's fouled off over by the White Sox dugout on the first base side. So
yeah, they have a player, Terry, on Team Israel. Left-handed pitcher Alex Katz. They have a lefty, Giovanni Soto, the lefty for Puerto Rico, and infielder Gregory Infante for Venezuela. In fact, the USA will be playing in Miami. Pool C, Canada, Dominican Republic, Colombia, and the United States. Also in the Colombian team, our good friend Ernesto Frieri.
How about that?
Who has been actually training here in the Phoenix area.
Here's the pitch. There's a bouncer by the mound, but it's out near the second baseman, and Sanchez will throw to first. Coward is retired, and that'll be the second out. 4-3 on the ground out. For those of you who are tuning in on Fox Sports West, and we've had some transmission trouble going back to the start of the ball game. Looks like things are up and running now. The Angels saw the White Sox get 3 on the board in the very first inning. Tyler Skaggs, making his first start of the season for the Angels, had control problems. In fact, he walked 4 of the 6 batters that he faced. He walked in a run, and then after facing a 6th batter of the game and throwing over 30 pitches, Mike Scioscia brought in a non-roster pitcher, Eduardo Paredes, and he gave up a 2-run single. Those runs were charged against Skaggs, although all the runs, the 3 runs the White Sox got in the inning, were unearned due to an error in the inning by Yunel Escobar. But even with that said, Skaggs had a lot of control issues, and hopefully the Angels might have spotted something as far as his delivery. We'll see how things go for him in his next start.
Just to say, a start like that, he's a little anxious, a little eager, a little amped up, a little out of sync, obviously. It's better that it happens now as he builds up stamina and a feel for pitches and work with Maldonado. You can know one thing, Terry. It needs to get better, and we trust that it will get better with Tyler Skaggs.
2-1 pitch just missed on Eric Young Jr., and the count on him goes to 3-1. He's gone 0 for 2 today, fly out and ground out. The Angels have only 2 hits, batting with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th, and the next pitch, and that's right in there for a strike. Let's pause for stations to identify themselves on the Angels Baseball Radio Network. It's a full count, and the 3-2 delivery that's fouled back to the screen over by the Angels dugout on the third base side. Nate Jones, the pitcher, we mentioned that unorthodox delivery. It almost looks like he's throwing a javelin or something out there on the mound.
Yes, it is.
You just don't see anyone with this type of delivery in the big leagues. And the next pitch, and this is a comebacker. He fumbles it, picks it back up, throws to first, and just nips the speedy Eric Young Jr., and the inning is over on the comebacker. So the Angels go down 1-2-3 here in the 6th. We head to the bottom of the inning right now. 4-0 White Sox on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Bottom of the 6th, and the Angels have a new pitcher. Number 6 of the day, Nate Smith, will replace fellow lefty Cody Iggy. Iggy had a 1-2-3 inning last inning, 3 fly ball outs against him. So here's Nate Smith's first pitch, and that one on Adam Engel, batting for the first time today, is in there for a strike. Engel hitting out of Willie Garcia's spot, the starting right fielder. And here's one popped in the air into shallow right center. Coming in and making the grab is the Angels' new right fielder, Michael Hermosillo. And that'll be the first out. So 1 gone. Jacob May will be the batter. The bottom of the 6th inning. It's being brought to you by our friends at Rotolo Chevrolet in Fontana. Rotolo Chevrolet is pursuing excellence every day. You can visit them at Rotolo.com. That's Rotolo.com.
Good to see Nate Smith back on the mound. He worked 2 innings his first time out and was very efficient. Struck out a couple of batters, allowing a hit. No runs.
Here's the pitch. That's lined down the left side, and that's a fair ball. It's going to bounce down in the left field corner. Flores just getting to it. May is making a turn at second. He will hold there with his 3rd hit of the day. So Jacob May now with a single, double, and triple in his first 3 times up.
That means they got to let him hit again. See if he can do it.
Nate Smith, who's on the hill for the Angels, his first inning today. And as far as this appearance, his 2nd this spring. He had worked 2 scoreless innings coming into this ball game. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, and in those 2 scoreless innings, he had allowed 1 hit. Giving up a hit here.
Youngster that was on the verge of getting called up by the Angels last September until he suffered some tenderness in that left elbow. But talking to him here throughout camp and watching his bullpens, free and easy. Greater sort of pitches around the zone. Trying to even cut down more on command issues that once in a while he runs into an inning or 2. And somebody, Terry, as you talk about the farm system that the Angels are heavily counting on to continue to develop. Outstanding changeup right there.
And that is a pitch that moves the count to 0 balls, 2 strikes. Everett Cabrera, the batter. And Cabrera, their leadoff man today, officially is 0 for 1 with a run batted in. Sac fly and a walk along with a strikeout today. Bottom of the 6th, it's 4-0 White Sox. They've led since the 1st inning. They got all 4 of their runs in the first 2 innings. And the next delivery, that one is cut on and missed, and he got him, struck him out. 2nd time Cabrera has gone down on strikes. First strikeout of the day for Nate Smith. 5th in the game overall for Angels pitching.
Good job, Tony Sanchez, behind the plate and making the youngster, after putting the sign down 1 time, being shaken off and insisting on him throwing the breaking ball, and knowing as a veteran catcher that you got to force a young pitcher sometimes to just get out of their own pattern.
There's one that is fouled off for strike 1. 0 balls and a strike.
It's a hot zone over there by the camera well, Terry, so we're hoping that that long lens out there is fine.
Two outs in the inning. Runner at second. Here's the 1 strike delivery, and that is right in there, much to the dismay of Leury Garcia. Wasn't happy with that call by the home plate umpire Garrett Patterson.
He's sitting fastball. He's sitting fastball inside, cheating a little bit, and once again Smith painting something very well down in the zone with the off speed.
So Nate Smith has the hitter right where he wants him. Smith has a very good changeup, probably his best pitch. His fastball will top out around 92 miles per hour, and the next delivery, that's a little pop right near second base. Navarro, the new second baseman, puts it away. Ray Navarro came in this inning to play second, and the inning is over. That's it for the White Sox. No runs. They had a double, and they leave a runner at second. They've stranded 8, but they lead it 4-0 as we go to the 7th on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. At the plate for the Angels is C.J. Cron, and he was taking a 1-0 pitch and missed for a ball. The count's 2 balls and no strikes. Nate Jones is still pitching for the White Sox. They have made a couple of changes on defense. Nicky Delmonico is now the third baseman, and the new center fielder, we remember him, Peter Borges, who had been with the Phillies for the last few years. Borges signed with the White Sox, and he's trying to win a spot as a reserve player for them this year.
And when with the Angels, he was an instant fan favorite. Speedy Petey can go get him. It's too bad that he's been affected by those hip issues, Terry, because he's still the fastest guy I've seen in an Angels uniform going home to third. Fastest that I've seen.
Here's the next delivery, and that one is going to miss on Cron for ball 4. So the Angels have a leadoff runner on, and it looks like the White Sox are going to make a pitching change here. I'll just double check, and that is going to be the case. Rick Renteria out there to take out Nate Jones. We have a break in the action. When we get back, Angels batting in the 7th, trailing 4-0. Runner on at first with nobody out. And we'll have more Angels baseball in a moment here on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. New pitcher who has entered the game for the White Sox is left-hander Corey Lupke. He was with the Pittsburgh Pirates for a little bit last season. Only appeared 9 games for them. He is a left-hander. One time this guy could really bring it, but he's had a lot of arm issues. In fact, he's had the Tommy John elbow surgery twice in the 2012 season, and again 3 years later in 2015.
He is one of the few that has had it more than one time.
Yeah. Here's the next delivery, and that one is low for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Signed a minor league deal with the White Sox in the offseason.
Velocity looks good. He lost 2 full seasons, 2013 and 2014.
Here's the next pitch, and that is a strike on the outside corner.
He also holds the distinction, very close to my broadcast partner here, that he attended the Ohio State University.
That's right. He was a first-round pick by San Diego back in 2007 out of Ohio State University. There's a toss over to first base. Back goes Crone. Kind of wondered at this stage of this ball game here in the 7th inning if maybe Mike Scioscia might pinch run for C.J. Crone, but
Crone has got to get his work in, I guess.
There's one that's a little bit inside.
We're just talking about C.J. Crone, the at-bats that are projecting. Last spring, he led all Angels with 75 at-bats. Played in 26 games. And he's fighting to get some at-bats at first base. Albert Pujols continues to progress very nicely, and he says he should be on the field fairly soon.
Here's a pitch that misses on Marte. So the Angels have had back-to-back walks here, one against Jones and now one against Lupke, and have 2 on with nobody out.
And I mean, Pujols on the field playing games very soon because he has been on the field every day since the beginning of camp.
When you say very soon, Jose, we're on the 4th of March. Are you thinking maybe a week from now?
I will say
less than that.
I'll say probably 10 days.
All right. Anywhere from a week to a week and a half from now. Here's the pitch, and that's a little bit low and inside. So if we saw Albert say in 10 days, that means he would still have 2 full weeks of spring training games to get ready.
That's the way things are projected right now, the way he is. And of course, he's been active around first base and participating in all the drills, but he knows the days with his foot and come back from rehab again to get stronger. More days as a DH than as a first baseman are coming up.
Here's the next pitch, and it's a little pop that is caught there by the second baseman, and boy, oh boy, had Marte been breaking at first, that had a shot to be a triple play. Catching the ball was Sanchez right next to the bag, and after he caught the ball, he just put his foot on second to double up Crone. And again, had Marte strayed far away from first, could have had a triple play right there.
Very alert play by Yolmer Sanchez, sliding in as the ball was kind of sliding away from him on a broken bat. He made sure that ball was not going to be dropping because he also had in front of him to his right how far the runner at second base had veered off.
So an unassisted double play, and just like that, the Angels, who had a threat brewing, now see just 1 runner on base and 2 outs, and need a 2-out hit here from Hermosillo, who's batting for the first time today.
In all of this, it was good base running by Jeffrey Marte.
Yeah. Michael Hermosillo's done a nice job getting some extended playing time here this spring.
He's done a good job, and he continues to progress.
There goes the runner. The pitch is a ball. No throw to second base. So Marte picks his spot and gets a stolen base.
Well, Mike Scioscia not afraid to tell you about Jeffrey Marte and one of the things that he brings into his role with the Angels. Little first base, little third base. bit of an outfield, but Max Scherzer mentioned the first week that Marte provides surprising speed.
Here's the next delivery, and that's a little bloop in a shallow center. And was the catch made? No, a trap on that one. And coming in and scoring from second base will be Marte on the bloop RBI hit from Hermosillo. So the Angels break the ice here, get on the scoreboard, trail at 4-1 in the 7th on the RBI hit for Hermosillo.
Oh, another stolen base for the Angels, 3 on the day, and that is the cause as to why they're now on the board. Mart's a great job, secondary lead. Of course, 2 outs, you're going to go on contact. And for Hermosillo, putting the ball in play, as valuable as ever. Getting jammed, waiting on the ball.
So here is Kruger pinch hitting Jack Kruger. And the first delivery on him, a ball that counts 1 ball, no strikes. Kruger is batting for Ramon Flores, who is in left field today. Flores went 1 for 2. Hermosillo's now had 2 hits this spring, and he's driven in a pair of runs at a homer a few days ago. And the pitch, that's a line shot out of the reach of the new third baseman Delmonico, and it's going to bounce into left field. A pinch hit single for Kruger. Jack Kruger hasn't had a whole lot of at-bats for the Angels so far this spring, but in the few times we've seen him in action, he has come through for the Angels.
And how many times have we seen it? The second wave of players coming in and giving the Angels a chance by providing so much energy. As Dave Hansen shared with us yesterday, Tara, I mean, Dave Hansen got as emotional as I've ever seen a coach get about talking about the young players. After the game yesterday.
Yep.
Pitch runner at first base, number 90, Jared Foster.
And he was talking about this, how much even the veteran players feed off what they see here. Well, the hungry youngsters, who he says they're ready to go right now.
There go both runners. The pitch, a ball, throw to second, and gunned down for the Angels is the pinch runner, Jared Foster. And that's how the inning will end. They brought in Foster, run for Kruger, and the Angels tried to double steal there, but they finally throw out a would-be Angel base stealer in today's ball game. So the Angels settle for the 1 run, had a pair of hits, a pair of walks in the inning, and 1 runner left. We are moving on to the bottom of the 7th. 4-1 White Sox on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports. First batter up, starting things off here for the White Sox, was Jason Bourgeois, and he just grounded out to David Fletcher, the Angels shortstop. So one pitch had one quick out. And Jose Abreu will be the next batter. It's 4-1 Chicago. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Angels have Matt Thaiss now playing first base. Chad Hinshaw is in right. Michael Hermosillo, who is playing right field, has moved to center. And Jared Foster, who came in to pinch run for Jack Kruger and was thrown out trying to steal, is the new left fielder. There's a cut and a miss by Abreu and a good changeup. Abreu's been pretty quiet today. 0 for 2 with a walk. He has scored a run. Nate Smith is working in his second inning of relief. Today's attendance 5,169, 51-69. And the next delivery, that's lined into left, and that looks like extra bases. It's going to bounce all the way down in the corner. Foster, the new left fielder, just getting to it in that left field corner. And at second, with a one-out double, his first hit today is Jose Abreu, and it looks like they'll bring in a pinch runner for him.
It's a great job and great way to finish your day as Jose Abreu stays in on that breaking ball, knowing what Smith have been doing a lot to the righties in the previous inning. Powerful slugger, known to have the ability to square against anybody.
So the batter is Danny Hayes. And here's the pitch on its way, and that is a breaking ball on the outside part of the plate, a called strike. Hayes is hitting out a Ashe's spot, and he replaced him at first base as well. Cody Ashe was 0 for 2 for the White Sox today. Here's the next delivery, and that's in there for a called strike. 0-2.
So far for Nate Smith, who was supposed to be stretched out a little bit beyond 2 innings today, or close to 45 pitches. He's at 15 right now with his 0-2 count.
And here's the next delivery, and that ball is hit well into right center field by Hayes. It's hit a long way, and it's gone. Out to right center, a 2-run homer. First at bat of the day for the new first baseman, Danny Hayes, and boy, he hit it a long way. The White Sox lead gets bigger. It's now 6-1.
Nice day for Danny Hayes, non-roster invitee out of Sacramento. 13th rounder for the White Sox back in 2013. Lefty-lefty matchup stays right on it. Great finish with the uppercut to that swing.
So at the plate, taking the first pitch for a strike is Sanchez. And here's the next delivery. That's a swing and a miss. So the count jumps to 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. A little bit low and away. 1 out in the inning, a pair in. And now a 5-run lead for the White Sox, their biggest lead of the day. 6-1 Chicago here in the 7th. There's a pitch trying to hold up. Was Sanchez, went around, struck him out. Off speed delivery gets him. That is the second strikeout today for Nate Smith. 2 outs in the inning. And the new catcher, Roberto Pena, is getting ready to bat for the first time today. Right-handed hitter. First pitch on Pena, it misses. He was taking it. It's ball 1. It's 1 ball, no strikes.
24-year-old from Caguas in Puerto Rico. Professional baseball since 2010. Originally with the Houston Astros, 7th rounder.
There's a pitch in there for strike. And the next delivery, that's chopped and foul on the third base side. Coward went diving to try and stop it, but a foul ball.
The White Sox will kick off their season against division rivals Detroit Tigers on Monday, April 3rd.
One and two, the count here on Pena. And Nate Smith with the next pitch. That's another ball hit hard on the left side, but fouls off that one as well.
The Angels will see the White Sox as late as September 25th through the 28th. 4 games. Angels in Chicago.
Yeah, it's going to be right near the end of the regular season. Lone visit to face the White Sox. There's a pitch that's missed. The catcher Sanchez has to pick up the baseball to complete the strikeout. Throws the first, and that is how the inning will end. So Pena is retired. Back-to-back strikeouts after the 2-run homer. And as we head to the 8th, Angels trailing the White Sox 6-1 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West.
Fishing Classic with
Leading off the top of the infield for the Angels. Second baseman number 13, Ray Navarro.
There's a new pitcher in the ball game here for the White Sox. His name is Zach Birdie, and he is a former first-round pick of the White Sox. That was last June. 26th player selected overall in the June amateur draft. Right-hander. And Ray Navarro will be the first batter to face Birdie once he has completed his warm-up tosses. Birdie has a good arm, and he is a guy who has reached triple digits with the fastball. Went through 4 levels in the White Sox system last year. Played collegiately at Louisville. So he replaces Lupke, who worked last inning, gave up 2 hits and the Angel run. Lupke also walked 1 batter and didn't strike out any. Here's the pitch. This one is lifted foul down the left side. It's back to the seats, out of play off the bat of Ray Navarro. We haven't seen a whole lot of Navarro so far here in the Cactus League.
Yeah, we have to get an update as to what was holding him back.
Yeah, this is only his 3rd at bat, and he was 1 for 2 in his first 2 at bats. Here's the pitch, and he cuts and misses that one for strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. Eddie Alvarez is now at shortstop for the White Sox. And they also have a new second baseman in the ball game. And that looks like Jose Vinicio. There's one that's chopped foul over on the right side. So the White Sox getting in some of their players up from minor league camp. Two strikes to count here on Ray Navarro. And the next delivery, it's a little pop on the left side. The third baseman is waiting for it. That's Delmonico, and he makes the catch for the first out.
That is Todd Frazier territory in the regular season. They're slugging third baseman.
When you mentioned his name, I was thinking, oh my goodness, that's not Delmonico, that's Frazier. And I thought, how could they do that to Todd Frazier?
No. Territory.
So here's David Fletcher. It's gone all the way at short for the Angels today. 0 for 2, right-handed batter, and Birdie's pitch, and that's a fastball that moves him off the plate. Ball 1. Not a whole lot of offense today for the Angels. Just the 1 run on 4 hits, trailing by 5 here in the 8th. And the next pitch, it's a little bit inside. It misses for a ball. Here's Birdie's next delivery. That one is inside. The right-hander for the White Sox, mentioned former first-round pick. Last name is spelled B-U-R-D-I. Zach Birdie.
His brother Nick also pitched at Louisville and has been clocked as high as 100 miles an hour for the Twins organization.
Well, both Birdie brothers triple-digit guys then. And there's a pitch inside, ball 4. So Fletcher gets on. The Angels have a 1-out base runner. As Birdie faces the Angels today. This is his 3rd appearance this spring, so they've got a little look at him already. Again, he was a guy this time a year ago still pitching in college baseball. Birdie's had a couple of scoreless innings coming into today's game. And here's the pitch, and that's right in there for a called strike.
I think our viewers and listeners on radio understand when it gets real quiet around here, there's a lot of names that we're trying to get familiar with.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of changes.
A lot of paperwork here in the booth, Jose. Trying to keep everything straight.
So we have the regular roster. We have the traveling roster, and we also have the minor league roster.
Right.
Just to keep all of you informed.
And sometimes we have players on the field who have the same number.
Sometimes we have players on the field that we're not even on the travel roster.
That's right.
It's all part of the fun here in spring training.
Here's the 0-2, and that is a cut and a miss. Cowart is down on 3 pitches.
All part of the fun here with Terry Smith. And you'll have Mark Gubiza here next week.
Gooby will be on with me beginning, on Monday? You're going to peel off and get ready for some WBC games in Mexico.
Yes, sir. We'll be covering those teams that will be working out here, actually. Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and Italy. All training here in the Valley of the Sun before the venue in Jalisco.
There's the pitch on its way. That's outside. I know corresponding with Mark Gubiza since the game started in the Cactus League. He's excited with the way the Angels are playing. He can't wait to get here.
Gubi does a good job with his getting some good scouting reports.
That's right.
Also providing some good scouting reports.
Here's the next pitch. That's popped up foul on the left side, backing out of play.
Gotta love Matt Theis and the way he carries himself on the field, still learning that position at first base. Provides you a solid at bat. Great pitch recognition and also knowledge of that strike zone. So here it is, Terry. University of Virginia against University of Louisville.
Counts 1 ball, 1 strike, and that one is on the outside corner. Yeah, both of these guys were playing in college at this time a year ago. Theis, in the few at bats that he's had this spring for the Angels, 6 of them he's had 3 hits, so you couldn't ask for much more than that. First at bat for him today, and the next delivery, that one is low. And we've seen Theis playing first base. That's a new position for him. He was primarily a catcher in college, so it's going to be some growing pains with him defensively. We saw that a little bit in yesterday's game, but on offense, that's always been his strength, and the Angels think he can move up the ladder quickly because of his bat.
And they believe the power will develop as he plays higher.
Here's the next pitch, and boy, he was fooled on that one. Did not get off a good swing on that pitch. Really fooled him, struck him out, and that's how the inning will end. So pretty good inning for the White Sox first round pick. It was a battle of each team's first round selection a year ago, and the June draft ends in the strikeout, and that'll do it for the Angels here in the 8th. The bottom of the inning is coming up 6-1. New pitcher for the Angels is Justin Miller. His first delivery is in there on Adam Engel, who's at the plate. Engel's been up once since entering the game. Flied out his first time up. Miller is ready, and here's his next pitch, and that's right in there for a called strike. Justin Miller, we've seen him a few times this spring, and as he works in today's game, pitcher number 7 for the Angels. Nate Smith worked the last 2 innings. He allowed 3 hits and a pair of runs. He struck out 3, didn't walk any, and he gave up a home run. Here's the next pitch. Miller's delivery, a check swing. Did he go around? No, on the 0-2, so Engel stays alive. As Miller pitches, this is his 3rd appearance this spring. Couple of scoreless innings so far. We're in the bottom of the 8th, and it's really been all White Sox today. They scored 3 in the first inning and have really never looked back. It's 6-1 at the moment, and the pitch that's popped in the air in a shallow right field, and that's going to fall in front of Hinshaw for a base hit. So Engel is on with a bloop single. And the next batter stepping up to the plate is going to be Peter Borges, the former Angel. Bottom of the 8th inning. It's being brought to you by Rotolo Chevrolet in Fontana. Rotolo Chevrolet, pursuing excellence every day. Visit them at rotolo.com. That's rotolo.com.
Nice by some of the Angels fans present here today and giving Peter Borges a nice welcome to the batter's box.
Borges a year ago hit .251 with the Phillies, 123 games, had 5 home runs, drove in 23. Career .243 hitter. He pops this one up foul on the left side, backing out of play. Peter Borges has always been a free swinger. And last season was no exception. 10th round pick of the Angels back in 2005.
When healthy, this man can play a solid center field.
Oh, yeah. Here's the pitch, and that's a pitch and miss. Snap throw to first base. Runner dives back. Engel. 1 ball, 1 strike to count on Borges.
In fact, the reason why Mike Trout played left field when he first came up is because Peter Borges was a plus defender in center field.
Talked about Borges being a free swinger. 17 walks last year and 355 at bats. And that's kind of been the knock on Peter. He just has never been a patient hitter.
Never has been a patient hitter.
If he would have walked more, let's say, probably might have stolen more bases.
How about make more contact?
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
With that speed.
Yep. 17 walks, 91 strikeouts, and 89 hits last year.
What a great kid, and his father, long time baseball man, knowledgeable, and well known here in the Valley of the Sun, this whole area.
Peter Borges now married, has a couple of children, a young son Maxton and a daughter Charlie. Here's the next delivery. He hits this one well into center field. That ball's really carrying out to center, and it bangs off the wall. Going to be extra bases for Borges. Being waved home is the lead runner Engel. Peter Borges with a triple now. The throw at third gets away, and he's going to easily come in and score. So the throw got away from Cowart, and really Borges was going to get the triple without the throw, but he ends up circling the bases. It'll be a triple, an RBI, and an error, and 2 more White Sox runs that are up 8-1.
Oh, Peter Borges ran very well home to third, as I was saying. Fastest Angel I've seen going home to third. Didn't have to really turn it up all that much. Loaded to third base standing up. Errant throw gets away and easily pretty much walks into home plate.
And the pitch, the first one, a check swing by Alvarez, who's the new shortstop, batting for the first time. It's strike 1.
So out of that number 9 position, 2 triples, single, and a double for the White Sox here today.
And the pitch, there's a cut and a miss. Oh, 0-2 the count. And that one is a little bit high on that error that enabled the batter Borges to score. Second error of the day for the Angels, who committed 3 yesterday. Counts 1-2 on Alvarez, and the next delivery, he lifts this one in the air into left field. That ball's carrying out in left, out on the warning track, jumping up and unable to make the grab is the Angels left fielder Foster. He's down on the surface out there, warning track, and circling the bases, and coming in to score will be the batter. Alvarez is going to get an inside the park home run on that one. And Foster was really shaken up once he jumped up against the fence in front of the Angels bullpen. He's finally gotten up, but Hermosillo had to come over and then get that baseball on the warning track, and Alvarez comes inside the park home run.
Yeah, Parker got twisted just a bit. Outstanding effort. That ball's actually went back on him and the other way, not slicing as much from that bat coming off the lefty. And once it carried him off, he stayed on the ground. Well, easy for another speedster to make it to home plate.
I think his foot got stuck in the chain link fence out there that protects the bullpen area, and that's why he couldn't react and pick up the baseball. He was stuck.
Exactly what happened. Somebody out of the bullpen came to rescue him, actually, from behind that fence.
So the first three batters in this inning, single, triple, and inside the park homer. And here's another ball. It's hit well into left center field, and that one is in the gap and off the wall in left center. It's going to be another extra base hit, and they've hit for the cycle here the first four batters in the inning. That's going to be a double for Delmonico, who is batting for the first time today. Single, triple, inside the park homer, and now a double from the first four batters against Justin Miller, who's having a tough time out there.
Can't say it enough how well the White Sox have used the other part of the field. Once again, another opposite field hard hit ball. And I can count at least 7 today. Hit by lefties over to left field.
So it's 9-1 as a result of the 3 that have scored in this inning. Still nobody out. And Bourgeois will be the next batter, since coming in he's gone 0 for 1. Here's the pitch, and that is a pitch on the outside corner. Well, the Angels had lost the game coming into today here in the Cactus League, but today this has been all White Sox. They lead at 9-1. Angels will have one more shot in the 9th. And the pitch chopped on the left side. The shortstop is there. Fletcher's throw to first, and just in time. Boy, that was close, but with the score 9-1, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of arguing there, and that'll be out number 1. On the play, the runner Delmonico remains at second.
Oh, David Fletcher seems like he because of the fast runner Bourgeois had to get rid of that ball so quickly. He held the ball on with every finger out there. Almost threw a changeup to first base to just get him.
And at the plate, the next batter lines one into right center field. That's going to be a base hit. So that was Omar Narvaez, who was batting for the first time in the ball game, getting that hit out of Abreu's spot in the batting order. And here is Danny Hayes, the first baseman, who last inning hit a home run. Rough inning here for Justin Miller. He had worked a couple of scoreless innings coming into this ball game, but that won't be the case today. Giving up 5 hits to the 6 batters he's faced, and the pitch, and that's in there for a strike. Angels have action in the bullpen. Here's the next pitch. That's a one-hopper through the right side. That's going to be another hit, and another run will score. It's 10-1 Chicago. And that is going to be it for Miller, as Mike Scioscia has seen enough here in this bottom of the 8th inning. A rough day for the Angel reliever Justin Miller, trying to win a spot in the Angel bullpen, but things certainly didn't go his way today. So we have a break in the action. When we get back, the White Sox are still batting here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and they have a 9-run lead on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. So the bottom of the 8th inning continues, and the Angels have gone to the bullpen. A rough day for Justin Miller, and here's the first delivery. That one misses a little bit high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Hosmer Morales is the new pitcher for the Angels. We've seen him a little bit so far this spring. He's ready, and here's the next pitch, and that one is tipped foul right by the plate. The numbers on Miller, he worked just 1/3 of an inning. He allowed 6 hits, and at the moment 4 runs, the 2 runners on base at first and second, his property. And Miller retired only 1 batter here today. 6 of the 7 had hits. 4 of them have scored. Counts even. It's 1 ball, 1 strike, and the next pitch, and that is a cut and a miss. Batting for the first time in the ball game is Jose Benicio, young player from the White Sox minor league camp, who's getting a chance to see a little action here late in this ball game. Eight pitchers used today by the Angels. Here's the next delivery, and that one is a pitch fouled back behind the plate. So it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
White Sox brought out the big sticks today. They have driven the ball all over this ballpark. They've got themselves into some good counts. Angels again not playing the cleanest of games. All started back in the first inning with a 4 walks issued by Tyler Skaggs, and the White Sox have not looked back.
Here's the next delivery, and there's a swing and a miss. Good off-speed pitch. Fools the batter. Benicio struck him out. 2 gone in the inning. Now the Angels today have been out hit 16-4 and outscored 10-1. 9th batter up in the inning, and this is their catcher Roberto Pena. And since he entered the game, he's had 1 at bat with a strikeout. Infield is backed up, and the pitch, that's a breaking ball. That one's in there for a called strike. Morales last season was in the Mariners organization. He's a Venezuelan. He was a reliever and a starter last year. Pitched an A ball, and here's the next pitch. That's a off-speed pitch. It's rolling up the first base side and just foul. That was hugging the line for a while, but a foul ball. 0-2 is the count.
Morales were very deliberate delivery, and then when he throws a breaking ball, it's a floater out there, Terry. That's why that ball was hit way off the end of the bat by Pena. And again, not the cleanest of movements towards home plate by Morales, which could really distract you as a hitter, especially when we come into a game late.
Here's the 2-strike pitch. That's low. Good block on it by Sanchez, the catcher. So the count's 1-2, and let's pause for stations to identify themselves right here on the Angels Baseball Radio Network. Terry Smith, Jose Mota, and Jorge Sevilla, our producer engineer, with you here today from Glendale. All White Sox. There's a bouncer by the mound. It's fielded, though, by the Angels' second baseman, Ray Navarro. Touches the bag at second, and that is how the inning will end on the fielder's choice. The White Sox do get 4 in the inning. Hit for the cycle in the inning at a total of 6 hits and leave 2 runners on base. The 9th is next, and the Angels are down here in Glendale 10-1 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. White Sox will make a pitching change as we head to the 9th inning. So Birdie, who pitched last inning, their first-round pick from a year ago, and he did a solid job. He will leave. A couple strikeouts, 1 walk, no hits or runs in his 8th inning of work. And Terrence Marine will be the new pitcher. He is a right-hander, and his first delivery, that's a pitch that misses for a ball. Fans, don't forget, join the Angels all season long and enjoy post-game Saturday night fireworks shows presented by Wells Fargo. For more information on the Saturday night fireworks, visit angels.com/promotions. Next one is fouled off, and the count on Nolan Fontana even. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Fontana is batting out a C.J. Cron spot. Cron was 0 for 2 as the DH today. First at bat for Fontana. And here's the 2-1 pitch. That's smacked on the right side, right at the second baseman, and the throw is in plenty of time. That's 1 gone here in the 9th inning. Benicio with the throw over to Hayes at first. Michael Barish is going to bat. And this is going to be his first time up. And the first delivery on Barish, who's a non-roster catcher in camp for the Angels. That one misses ball 1. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Seen a little bit of Barish in ball games this spring, and he cuts at that one and fouls that one off. Marine is a pretty quick worker, the new White Sox pitcher. Barish is 1 for 1 batting so far this Cactus League for the Angels, and he rips that one down the left side, just foul. Ball bounced down in the left field corner. So it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Angels back in Tempe tomorrow, and the Cincinnati Reds will be in town. Garrett Richards on the hill for the Angels. Long time since he last pitched in a game for the Angels. Of course, Richards spent most of last year, as it turned out, on the disabled list. Thought for a while he was going to have the Tommy John surgery on his elbow. Decided to go with an alternate way as far as dealing with that injury. Had the stem cell therapy. Also the platelet-rich plasma injections. They call that PRP. Here's one fouled off on the left side. 2-2. And so Richards avoided the surgery on his elbow. Had he had that, he would not have pitched this season for the Angels after suffering that injury back in early May last year. But he is back, apparently healthy and ready to go. He'll pitch tomorrow. 2-2. Lifted in the air into right center field. The right fielder Engel is chasing, still chasing, and the ball's by him, and it's out at the warning track. Going into second, and stopping there is Barish as the throw got away in from the outfield. Barish at second base, and he has a pinch hit double. So he's made the most of his 2 at bats so far this spring. A couple of hits. Angels have a 1-out base runner. Tony Sanchez will be the next batter, and this will be his first at bat today. So the Angels have a runner at second. And the pitch on Sanchez. He takes that one inside. This is actually Sanchez's second at bat of the day. He popped into a double play. Almost had a chance to be a triple play for the White Sox in the 7th inning. And here's the pitch. That's a shot hit right to the second baseman, though, and it should be an easy play. And the throw will get Sanchez on the play. Barish moves over to third. The Angels are down to their final out in this ball game, trailing at 10-1. And Hermosillo, who's singled in a run, will be the next batter. After the ball game, Jose and Alex Curry will have Angels Live on Fox Sports West. We'll have a recap of the game for you on the Angels Baseball Radio Network as well. Everyone set. Right-hander against right-hander, and the pitch, it's nubbed foul on the first base side. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count on Hermosillo. Hermosillo awaits the next delivery as he digs in. Right-handed batter for the Angels. And the next pitch, and that is on the outside part of the plate. That's a called strike, so he's deep in the hole. It's now 0-2. Hermosillo is from the Chicago area, Ottawa, Illinois, suburb of Chicago, and he was a very good football player in high school. Here he chops a ball out near second base, and that one is going to skip on through into center field for an RBI hit. So the Angels haven't had a whole lot to cheer about today. Just the second run in this ball game, and still down by a bundle, but a run here in the 9th inning, and the game stays alive. And Francisco Arcia is going to bat now for the Angels. This will be his first time up. Angels have had 4 different players in this spot in the batting order as that one is lifted down the left side. A foul ball backing out of play. 10-2 White Sox, 2 outs here in the 9th. Jose is headed downstairs for TV post-game duties here today. Counts 0-1 on Arcia. And the next delivery, that's fouled off on the left side. Arcia in camp. He is a catcher. This is his first year in the Angels organization. Arcia, left-handed batter, who was in the Marlins system a year ago. AA and AAA, hit just .228. So 2 strikes to count on the lefty batter, and the next pitch, and that's outside. 1-2. Here's the delivery, and it's chopped foul right by home. Ray Navarro would be up next for the Angels if the 9th inning continues. Navarro's had 1 at bat today. This will be the 20th pitch in the inning for Terrence Marine, and the pitch, and that's a little bit outside. Not by much. Close pitch right there. 10-2 ball game. If you're the batter, you got to be careful if you're going to take one that close. But the call went in favor of Arcia, so he's still alive. And the 2-2. This is a pop-up on the left side of the infield, and this should do it. Circling under and making the grab is Delmonico, the third baseman, and that's how the ball game will end. So the Angels